ART settle in for what they hope will be a slightly less dramatic conclusion of the session than the initial start. Here's Pulcini, our pole sitter at the start of the year, the driver that got the party started with that last gasp pole to deny Nikita Mazepin, who had looked for so much of that session like he was going to take it. Mazepin got his revenge the next day to become the first race winner of the season. Since then, we've had 10 drivers on the podium. And Pulcini, although he has not managed to notch that first victory, has been on the podium on 2 occasions, with a second and third, both of those results coming in Austria. So they do have the DRS zone around the circuit. Remember, this is a circuit that was resurfaced 1 year ago. So it used to be incredibly abrasive in terms of tyres. We used to run the hard compound around here, but since it's been resurfaced, Pirelli feel that they are able to bring a softer compound, and so we're running the yellow-walled soft tyre. And they will bolt on a couple of sets in this session. It's all about making the tyres last, as Piquet takes a lot of curve, gets a little bit of air, and that is the precarious problem that you have through turn number 4. It's a blind entry to that corner. You have to decide how much you're willing to take through the corner before you get to it. It's very similar to Cox Corner. It's very similar to the Jochen-Rindt curve that we have in Austria as well. And as we tick on to the next round, those were the rounds that we had before. Austria into Silverstone at the end of the triple header. Then a break for the drivers to regather their thoughts. Piquet, I think in terms of this being his rookie season, he would be very happy indeed with the way it's gone. He'll be happy to see that he's up on the initial benchmark time. Remember, these tyres are going to continue. One thing we saw from Antoine Hubert, the championship leader, he's currently got 100 points exactly. One thing we saw from Antoine Hubert yesterday is that in practice he was able to keep the speed on a second lap, on a third flying lap, in a way that his teammates weren't. Now the proviso with that is that they have had 24 hours to look at the data, as Hubert comes over the line with a 1:32.4. A reminder that practice's ultimate pace yesterday was a 1:32.0, and pole position last year set by ART's Jack Aitken, a 1:31.7, as we see that major moment, airborne moment for Piquet. Saw it on board, saw how much air he got there as he ran back onto the circuit. So it's just important to bail out of the lap for the drivers, not to do what Nico Kari did earlier in the session. From one trident with Piquet to Ryan Tavita, the American driver brings it around the 14th and final corner, and he slots in to 7th position. But it's all about, can these tyres last for another lap? Do they need a cool-down lap in between? Are they just going to be running lap after lap after lap? Pulcini has found himself in 3rd position. Still expecting these times to tumble. He's one of 3 drivers not to get a time on the board so far. Giuliano Alesi, who's in the mix for pole position in France, made a mistake. Can he take pole position now? No, he can't. It's 4th place. He was 3rd in France, he was 3rd at Silverstone, and he's currently 4th in the order, 0.4 of a second away from the ultimate pace of Hubert, who is looking ever more comfortable with his position as the man to beat in 2018. But he was urging caution earlier on stage this weekend. He was saying, look, it's a long way to go. This is the halfway point of the season. He was very, very pleased indeed, though, with his Silverstone recovery drive. After scoring no points in Austria, he won the race after taking pole position in Silverstone, in the first race of the weekend, and then followed it up with a strong 4th place, having started on the reverse grid 8th position. Now Hughes had a torrid time when he raced here in GP3 back in 2016. Back then he was with the Dams team, who no longer operating in GP3. Now with ART, still a French team. He is one of our race winners this year. We've had 6 of them. He's looking for a pole position, and at the moment, that's what he's got, with the fastest time of a 1:32.2 to go ahead of his teammate. Dorian Boccolacci has been one of our 4 pole sitters so far this year. He's got a Campos in front of him, though, being warned that it needs to get out of the way, but it's not getting out of the way, and Boccolacci is being impeded here. He will argue, at least, by Pulcini. Pulcini will say that he's got to find his own track space. Boccolacci goes up to 5th. So I think Pulcini was on a cool-down lap to go again now. So running out of sequence, this just shows you how important track position is around the Hungaroring. Once again, back with Pedro Piquet in those famous crash helmet colours. And the Brazilian driver has the long turn 14 where it is tempting to get on the power early, but if you do that, you run wide onto the AstroTurf. That's not been a problem for Piquet with DRS open. One of two zones around this racetrack. It's only 12th for him at the moment. Correa is setting a very fast time indeed. Let's look at Hubert going to turn number 4, taking a lot of curve, and that is the best approach from the championship leader. Kicks up a little bit of dust as he returns to the circuit, but no airborne moment, no damage to the floor. So fastest man in the first sector and the second sector currently, Juan Manuel Correa, and he was just aiming for the top 10. Could be better than that. It's second for the American driver who cuts the beam with a 1:32.3, and he's just behind Hughes as these times will continue to tumble. It's the third year that they've been running this Dallara built car with its bespoke tyres by Pirelli, its bespoke chassis from Dallara. And this is the third and we assume final year.